In the deep, cold expanse where the cosmos weaves its grandest tapestries, there exists a city. Not a city of steel and light, but of fire and gravity, a metropolis of 100 million suns, each one a galaxy unto itself. This is the Coma Cluster, a gravitational whirlpool of staggering proportions, where island universes collide in a slow, silent ballet of annihilation and creation. From our distant vantage point, it appears as a delicate swarm of celestial jewels scattered across black velvet. But this serenity is an illusion, a mask worn by one of the most violent and chaotic regions in the known universe. Here, galaxies are torn asunder, their stars flung into the intergalactic void like cosmic dust. Others are devoured whole, their light and matter feeding the insatiable behemoths that reside at the cluster's heart. Among these thousand glittering points of light, one shines with a particular, ancient grace. It is a titan among titans, a supergiant elliptical galaxy designated NGC 4889. It drifts through the cluster with the quiet dignity of an elder, its form a smooth, featureless globe of pale gold, a seemingly placid ocean of starlight. But deep within this tranquil facade, hidden from view by a billion veils of suns, lies a secret. It is a presence so vast, so powerful, that it defies our terrestrial frameworks of understanding. At the core of this silent galaxy sleeps a monster of almost infinite gravity, a supermassive black hole of such incomprehensible scale that it dwarfs not only our Sun, but our entire solar system. Its mass is that of 21 billion suns, crushed into a point of zero volume. Its shadow, the event horizon, is a chasm in space-time 15 times wider than the orbit of Neptune. And yet, for all its power, it is utterly, profoundly silent. Where there should be the roaring fury of a quasar, the brilliant death scream of consumed matter, there is only a whisper of X-rays, the ghost of a long-extinguished fire. This cosmic leviathan is dormant, a sleeping god in a silent cathedral. This raises the most fundamental of questions. What happens when a power that can bend the fabric of reality itself simply stops? What cosmic events led to this great slumber, and what, if anything, could ever awaken it? The silence of NGC 4889 is not an absence of sound, but the presence of a mystery that reaches to the very heart of galactic life and death. To understand it, we must journey across oceans of time and space, to the edge of a precipice from which not even light can return. Join us, as we venture into the heart of the silent giant, to confront the slumbering king of the Coma Cluster. Now, let's begin. Music. Our journey is not measured in miles or kilometers, but in a currency of time so vast it renders human history to a fleeting instant. We must travel 300 million light-years, a distance that light itself, the universe's ultimate speedster, takes 300 million years to cross. As we leave our own local group of galaxies behind, the familiar constellations of our sky dissolve into a uniform, star-dusted haze. The Milky Way, our magnificent home, shrinks until it is just another spiral arm in a sea of countless others, then a mere pinprick, and then nothing at all. We are now in the intergalactic void, the immense, near-empty chasm that separates the great cities of the cosmos. Here, darkness is not merely the absence of light, it is the dominant state of being. The universe on this scale is a delicate foam, a web of luminous filaments stretching across unfathomable emptiness. These filaments are the cosmic highways, rivers of dark matter guiding galaxies toward the great nodes where clusters form. We are traveling along one such filament, a path laid down by gravity in the universe's infancy. The light that guides us, the ancient photons from NGC 4889 that are just now reaching Earth, began their odyssey when our world was a different planet entirely. When they embarked, the first dinosaurs were just beginning their reign, the continents were fused into the supercontinent of Pangaea, and the future evolution of mammalian life was a distant, uncertain dream. For the entire span of the age of reptiles, through their cataclysmic extinction, and across the 65 million years of mammalian ascent that led to us, this light has been traveling, faithfully carrying the image of a galaxy and its sleeping heart across the expanding fabric of space-time. As we traverse this void, we pass ghostly apparitions, lone, rogue stars ejected from their home galaxies by gravitational skirmishes, destined to wander this darkness for eternity. We see dwarf galaxies, small, faint smudges of light, huddled together like fearful travelers, orbiting the larger structures from a safe distance. The journey itself is a lesson in cosmic history. The further we travel from home, the further back in time we are looking. The light from a galaxy 1 million light-years away shows it as it was 1 million years ago. Our journey to NGC 4889 is therefore a journey into the past, into an era 300 million years closer to the universe's violent youth. After an immeasurable passage through the cold and the dark, a new light begins to dawn ahead. It is not the light of a single star or galaxy, but a growing, diffuse luminescence, the combined glow of 1,000 galaxies packed together in a cosmic crush. We are approaching the edge of the Coma cluster. The gravitational tide begins to pull at us, a gentle but inexorable current drawing us into the metropolis. The density of galaxies increases dramatically. Spirals, ellipticals, and irregulars of all shapes and sizes swirl around a common center of gravity, their serene dance belying the ferocious forces at play. We are now entering the city limits, a domain where the fate of entire star systems is dictated by the overwhelming gravity of the collective. This is the realm of giants, and we are heading for the throne of its largest and most enigmatic king. The light ahead coalesces, and from the swarm, one object begins to dominate our view. It is not a dazzling spiral with bright, star-forming arms. It is a vast, smooth, almost featureless orb of pale, golden light. This is NGC 4889, a supergiant elliptical galaxy, the silent ruler of this cosmic kingdom. From the chaotic periphery of the Coma cluster, NGC 4889 appears as an island of tranquility. It lacks the vibrant blue and pink hues of younger, spiral galaxies, where nebulae blaze with the light of newborn stars. Instead, it is bathed in the soft, yellow-orange glow of ancient suns, stars that have been burning for billions of years, their fiery youth long since faded into a stable, enduring middle age. The galaxy is immense, stretching over 1 million light-years from one edge to the other, a stellar continent containing trillions of stars, perhaps 10 times as many as our own Milky Way. Its shape, a near-perfect ellipsoid, tells a story of a violent and cataclysmic past. An elliptical galaxy like this is not born, it is forged. It is a cosmic artifact, the product of countless galactic mergers over billions of years. In its youth, NGC 4889 was likely many smaller galaxies, spirals and irregulars, each with its own central black hole, its own unique population of stars and gas clouds. Gravity, the great architect of the cosmos, drew them together. Their collisions were not explosions in the human sense, but slow, gravitational struggles lasting hundreds of millions of years. Stars rarely collided directly, but their orbits were thrown into chaos. Great tidal tails of stars and gas were ripped away, forming beautiful, transient arcs in the darkness before being reabsorbed. The once orderly disks of the spiral galaxies were disrupted, their structures erased, their stars scattered and randomized into the spherical halo we see today. With each merger, the central black holes of the colliding galaxies would spiral towards one another, eventually coalescing in a burst of gravitational waves, ripples in spacetime that still echo through the cosmos. This process repeated itself, again and again. NGC 4889 grew by cannibalizing its neighbors, its central black hole swelling in mass with each conquest. The galaxy we see now is the end result of this long history of cosmic violence. It is a mature, settled entity. The vast clouds of interstellar gas and dust that fuel star formation have long since been consumed, either converted into stars during the merger-induced starbursts of its youth or devoured by the central monster. This is why the galaxy appears so uniform and so old. It is a galaxy in retirement, a quiet graveyard of suns. Its silence is not emptiness, but the profound quiet that follows a storm of unimaginable duration and intensity. It breathes with a slow, ancient rhythm, the collective light of its trillion stars a steady, unwavering pulse. As we draw closer, plunging through its outer halo, we move through a diffuse sea of these ancient stars. There are no nebulae here, no nurseries of creation. There are only the old ones, the survivors, locked in their placid orbits around a center they can feel but never see. The gravitational pull intensifies with every light year we cross. We are being drawn inexorably toward the galactic core, toward the heart of this silent giant, where the laws of physics are pushed to their absolute limit. The placid exterior is a veil, and we are about to pass through it, to confront the power that forged this colossal empire of stars and then, mysteriously, fell into a deep and profound slumber. The closer we get, the brighter the light becomes, but it is a light without a source, a uniform glow emanating from the crushing density of stars ahead. We are now deep within the core of NGC 4889. The concept of a night sky has vanished. Here, there is no darkness, only an ocean of unending light. The stars are no longer discrete points but have merged into a single, blinding, incandescent fog. The density is staggering. Millions of stars are packed into a volume that, in our own galactic neighborhood, would contain only one. If a planet existed here, it would know no night, only the perpetual daylight of 1,000 nearby suns. The gravitational environment is extreme. The stars here are not on leisurely, circular orbits like our own sun. They are on frantic, high-speed, elliptical paths, whipped around the galactic center like stones in a sling. They move at thousands of kilometers per second, their trajectories dictated by a single, overwhelming source of gravity that remains unseen. This is the sphere of influence of the central black hole, the region where its gravity is no longer just a contributing factor but the absolute, undisputed monarch. Everything here, every star, every wisp of gas, every photon of light, is a subject in its kingdom. We are approaching the throne room. As we push deeper into this luminous haze, a strange phenomenon begins to manifest. A void appears in the center of the light. It is not a region of fewer stars, but a place where the stars themselves seem to vanish from sight, their light contorted and bent by an invisible lens. This is the effect of gravitational lensing on a colossal scale. We are seeing the shadow of the beast, the first sign of the precipice at the center of reality. And then, we see it. Or rather, we see its absence. A perfect, circular, impenetrable blackness against the backdrop of the star fog. This is the event horizon of the supermassive black hole at the heart of NGC 4889. It is a surface of no return, a one-way membrane in space-time. It is not a physical object but a boundary, an informational firewall beyond which the universe we know ceases to exist in any meaningful way. Any object, any particle, any ray of light that crosses this threshold is lost forever, its future path ending inevitably at the singularity, a point of infinite density at the center. The sheer scale of this object is difficult for the human mind to process. Its mass is 21 billion times that of our Sun. To put that into perspective, if our Sun were a single grain of sand, this black hole would be a sphere of sand weighing more than a large cargo ship. All of this mass is concentrated into a region of space smaller than a single atom. The event horizon, the shadow it casts, is a sphere with a diameter of roughly 130 billion kilometers. If this object were placed at the center of our solar system, its edge would extend far beyond the orbits of all the planets, past Pluto, past the Kuiper belt, and deep into the Oort cloud. The entire solar system, which takes light a full day to cross, would be swallowed whole, a mere speck of dust falling into a cosmic ocean. This is not merely a black hole, it is a cosmological entity, a fundamental pillar of its galaxy's structure, a gravitational anchor for trillions of suns. And yet, it is utterly quiescent. There is no brilliant accretion disk, no swirling vortex of superheated matter. There are no relativistic jets erupting from its poles. There is only the silence, the perfect, profound blackness, waiting. It is a king on a silent throne, its power absolute but currently unexpressed. This giant was not always so placid. To understand its present silence, we must wind the cosmic clock backward, by billions of years, to a time when the universe was younger, more chaotic, and more compact. In the aftermath of the great galactic mergers that formed NGC 4889, the galactic core was a maelstrom of activity. Vast quantities of interstellar gas and dust, the remnants of the shredded spiral galaxies, were funneled towards the newly engorged central black hole. Gravity, relentless and patient, drew this material inward. But it did not fall directly in. Instead, constrained by the conservation of angular momentum, the infalling gas formed a vast, flattened, rotating structure around the black hole, an accretion disk. This was the engine of a quasar, and it was perhaps the most luminous and violent object in the entire universe. Imagine a swirling vortex of matter, hundreds of billions of kilometers across, spinning at near the speed of light. The friction and tidal forces within this disk were so immense that they heated the gas to millions of degrees, causing it to glow with an intensity that would outshine the entire host galaxy of 1 trillion stars. The light produced by this quasar would have been visible across the cosmos, a brilliant beacon signaling the furious activity at the heart of a young galaxy. The center of NGC 4889 was not a place of silent darkness, but the site of a continuous, raging celestial firestorm. The energy released was biblical in its scale. As matter spiraled its final, fatal journey towards the event horizon, it would radiate away a significant fraction of its mass as pure energy. This radiation pressure was so intense it could push back against the inflowing gas, creating a complex, self-regulating feedback loop. But not all the matter was consumed. The incredible magnetic fields, generated by the rapidly spinning disk and the black hole itself, would become twisted into colossal funnels at the black hole's poles. Through these funnels, a fraction of the superheated plasma, traveling at over 99% the speed of light, would be ejected in two opposing, tightly collimated beams. These were the relativistic jets. These jets were weapons of cosmic scale, lances of pure energy stretching for millions of light-years, far beyond the confines of the galaxy itself. They would have punched through the interstellar medium of NGC 4889 and continued deep into the intergalactic space of the Coma cluster, sterilizing any world unfortunate enough to lie in their path. They inflated huge lobes of hot gas, visible in radio wavelengths, great invisible bubbles of energy that are the fossil record of the black hole's active phase. For hundreds of millions of years, the heart of NGC 4889 was this raging inferno. It was a quasar, a quasi-stellar radio source, one of the great lighthouses of the young universe. It was a creator and a destroyer, its radiation shaping the evolution of its host galaxy, clearing out gas and regulating the rate of star formation. It was the galaxy's violent, beating heart, and its roar was heard across the universe. So, what happened? Where did all the fire and fury go? Why is the throne room now dark and the king asleep? The answer is as simple as it is profound: the giant began to starve. A quasar, for all its unimaginable power, is a fundamentally temporary phenomenon. It is a fire that requires a constant supply of fuel. The great galactic mergers that had once supplied the black hole with a feast of gas, dust, and stars eventually ceased. The Coma cluster began to mature, the orbits of its galaxies stabilizing, the frequency of chaotic collisions diminishing. Within NGC 4889 itself, the quasar's own violent output had a hand in its demise. The intense radiation and the powerful jets acted like a cosmic snowplow, blowing away the remaining gas and dust from the galactic core, pushing it out into the galactic halo where it could no longer be captured by the black hole's gravity. The black hole, in its period of greatest activity, effectively cleaned its own plate. It consumed everything within its immediate gravitational reach and then drove away any potential future meals. This is a crucial phase in the life of a massive galaxy, a self-regulating mechanism that ensures the central black hole does not grow indefinitely and consume the entire galaxy. Once the fuel supply dwindled, the great engine began to sputter. The brilliant accretion disk, no longer being replenished, thinned out. The last of its matter was either consumed by the black hole, ejected, or settled into stable orbits. The friction and heat subsided. The light of the quasar flickered, dimmed, and then, over a period of a few million years, a mere blink of an eye in cosmic time, it went out. The relativistic jets, deprived of their power source, faltered and collapsed. The great magnetic funnels dissipated. The roar at the center of the galaxy faded to a whisper, and then to silence. The king had entered a state of dormancy. The galaxy transitioned from a violent, active phase into the quiet, red and dead elliptical we see today. Its era of formation and chaotic growth was over. It had settled into its long, stable, and seemingly peaceful old age. The silence we now observe is not a sign of weakness or absence. It is the signature of maturity and exhaustion. It is the quiet of a battlefield after the war is over, the stillness of a volcano that has spent all its fire. The supermassive black hole is still there, its mass and gravity undiminished. It is just as powerful as it was in its quasar phase. But its power is now latent, potential rather than kinetic. It is a beast in a cage of its own design, having scoured its environment so thoroughly that it has isolated itself from the very sustenance it needs to roar again. This great slumber is the natural, final state for many of the universe's most massive galaxies. They burn brightly and furiously in their youth, but this very fury ensures a long and quiet future. The silent giant of NGC 4889 is a monument to this cosmic cycle of feast and famine, of sound and silence. Even in its profound slumber, the king is not without influence. Its reign has merely shifted from one of overt, energetic dominance to a subtle, gravitational orchestration. The primary way we know this black hole exists at all is not by seeing it, but by observing its unshakable hold on the stars around it. Astronomers, using powerful telescopes to peer into the galaxy's blazing core, can measure the velocities of the stars orbiting the unseen center. What they find is astonishing. Stars in the immediate vicinity of the core are moving at incredible speeds, thousands of kilometers per second, whipped around in tight, frantic orbits. According to the laws of gravity, the only way for these stars to maintain such velocities without being flung out into space is if they are orbiting an object of immense mass, concentrated in a very small area. By plotting these stellar orbits, astronomers can effectively weigh the central object. The result of these calculations for NGC 4889 is the almost unbelievable figure of 21 billion solar masses. The stars are the courtiers, their frantic dance a testament to the power of the invisible monarch on the throne. The black hole's gravity is the silent law that governs this entire central region, a law that has been in effect for billions of years and will continue for billions more. While the brilliant quasar is gone, the black hole is not entirely fasting. The galactic core is not a perfect vacuum. There is still a tenuous, superhot halo of gas, a ghostly remnant of the galaxy's former atmosphere. Occasionally, a wisp of this gas will lose momentum and begin a slow, fatal spiral inward. As it gets closer, tidal forces shred it and the immense gravity accelerates it, heating it to millions of degrees. Before it crosses the event horizon and vanishes forever, this superheated gas emits a faint glow of high-energy X-rays. This is the whisper in the dark, the faint echo of the quasar's former roar. Modern X-ray telescopes, like the Chandra X-ray Observatory, can detect this feeble emission. It is a ghostly signal, the last sigh of matter before it is extinguished from our universe. This trickle of accretion is minuscule, barely enough to qualify as a snack for such a behemoth. It provides a tiny fraction of the energy the black hole once radiated, but it is a crucial confirmation that the object is still there, still accreting, still abiding by the laws of physics. It is a ghost king, ruling its stellar empire through an invisible force, sustained by the faintest of whispers from a long-dead era. Its silence is therefore not absolute. It is a deep, resonant quiet, punctuated by the faintest of murmurs, a reminder of the power that lies sleeping, waiting for a reason to wake. What does the future hold for this sleeping giant? The universe is not a static place. The long, quiet slumber of NGC 4889 central black hole may not be permanent. Two primary paths lie before it, a violent reawakening or a slow, inexorable fade into nothingness. The path of reawakening is the more dramatic. A dormant black hole can be reignited if a new source of fuel becomes available. This could happen in several ways. A large, wandering cloud of interstellar gas, perhaps disturbed from the galactic halo by a passing dwarf galaxy, could stray too close to the core. Captured by the black hole's gravity, it would be torn apart and form a new accretion disk, and the quasar would be reborn. For a time, the heart of NGC 4889 would once again blaze with the light of 1 trillion suns. A more common trigger would be a star. In the densely packed galactic core, stars are on chaotic orbits. It is a statistical certainty that, every few thousand years, a star will pass too close to the supermassive black hole. This is a tidal disruption event. The star, caught in the immense gravitational gradient, would be stretched and pulled apart, its matter unraveling into a long stream of plasma, a process gruesomely nicknamed spaghettification. A portion of this stellar material would be captured by the black hole, feeding it in a brilliant, transient flare that would last for months or years. The most spectacular scenario for reawakening would be another galactic merger. While the Coma cluster is relatively mature, it is not static. NGC 4889 could, over the next few billion years, merge with another large galaxy in the cluster. Such a collision would dump vast new reserves of gas and stars into the galactic core, providing enough fuel to restart the quasar not for a brief flare, but for another long epoch of activity lasting millions of years. The Silent King would awaken, and its roar would once again echo across the cluster. But there is another, far more likely, and far more profound future. If no new fuel arrives, the black hole will continue its slow starvation. Its fate is then tied to the ultimate fate of the universe itself. According to our current understanding of physics, black holes are not truly eternal. They are subject to a process known as Hawking radiation, a quantum mechanical effect that causes them to slowly lose mass over unimaginable timescales. Particles are constantly popping into existence and annihilating each other throughout space. Near an event horizon, it's possible for one particle of a pair to fall in while the other escapes, carrying away a tiny amount of the black hole's mass energy. This process is incredibly slow. For a black hole the size of the one in NGC 4889, the time it would take to evaporate completely is a number so large it is almost meaningless, 10 to the power of 100 years. This is a timescale that makes the current age of the universe seem like less than a single heartbeat. In this distant, dark future, long after the last stars have burned out and the universe has grown cold and empty, the silent giant of NGC 4889 will slowly, particle by particle, radiate itself away into the void, its immense mass converted back into a final, faint warmth. It would be the last whisper of a forgotten cosmos, the final act in a story that began with a bang and ends in a slow, silent fade. We have journeyed 300 million light-years to the heart of a cosmic empire, to stand at the edge of a sleeping god. We have traveled through its quiet, ancient kingdom of stars, pushed through the blinding light of its core, and arrived at a precipice of perfect darkness. Here, at the center of NGC 4889, we have confronted one of the most powerful objects in the universe, a supermassive black hole of 21 billion solar masses, and found it in a state of profound peace. The core mystery of its silence is now resolved. It is not a puzzle of physics, but a chapter in a story of cosmic evolution. The giant is silent because its time of youthful rage is over. It feasted upon the chaos of galactic mergers, grew to its colossal size, and in the process, sterilized its own environment, ensuring a long and quiet reign. Its slumber is the natural consequence of its own power, a self-imposed exile from the energetic universe it once dominated. The silence is a sign of its maturity, the quiet dignity of an ancient monarch whose wars are long since won. In this, we see a reflection of the universe's grand cycle, from the chaotic, fiery birth of the Big Bang, to the formation of brilliant stars and raging quasars, and onward to a future of cold, quiet, and expanding darkness. NGC 4889 and its silent heart are a snapshot of this process, a galaxy in its graceful, quiet autumn, poised before the long winter of eternity. The power is still there, latent and immense, a sleeping dragon that could be woken by a stray star or a colliding galaxy. But for now, it rests. It is a monument to the balance between creation and destruction, between the blinding light of a quasar and the absolute blackness of an event horizon, between the roar of cosmic youth and the profound silence of cosmic age. What would you have done if you could witness it? Would you fear its awakening, the return of its devastating, galaxy-shaping power? Or would you stand in reverential awe of its slumber, marveling at the peace that can be found even in the heart of such unimaginable force?